Hello, David here at merchantaccounts.ca. Today I'm here to tackle the topic of how to reduce declined transactions, reduce the number of declined transactions that you get. Stay tuned, we'll dig in 1 second. So let's start by saying that the card issuer, that's the bank that gave the credit card to the cardholder, they're looking to get the best info you've got. Technically speaking, to get an approval, all you need is a credit card number, an expiry date, and an amount. That's it. But you're not really giving them a lot to go on. Card issuers have anti-fraud algorithms. They don't want fraudsters to steal credit card numbers and put them through. So for example, if somebody's credit card limit is $10,000 and someone tries to do a $10,000 transaction at 4 in the morning from some overseas country at an online casino, the card issuer's anti-fraud system should hopefully go, this doesn't sound right. So you know that there's an anti-fraud algorithm. What you don't know is exactly how it works. For the same reason that Google doesn't explain exactly how it works. If you knew exactly how their algorithm worked, it would render it useless. So instead we can intuit, how we think it works, and we can apply logic. Like, we know that the more comfort we can give the card issuer, the greater the probability of an approved transaction. So the first thing that you can give the card issuer, basically when doing an e-commerce or virtual terminal transaction, the first thing that you should do is type in the customer's billing address, specifically the postal code or zip code if you're in the US, and the street address. There's two AVS checks, the postal code and the street address. If it matches on the AVS, it's more likely that the card issuer is going to approve the transaction. Similarly, on your credit card, there's a 3-digit security code on the back. This is called a CVV code. You should always type the CVV code in for every order. It's another positive identifier that the card issuer, it's like a little stacked thing. There's no one ingredient that's going to change the world for you, but it's another little thing in your favor that hopefully moves the needle enough that you get that approval. Another big thing that causes declined transactions is cross-border transactions, which is something that can be really hard to prevent. My note on the screen says, if possible, prevent the transaction from crossing a border. Well, that actually is good advice, but how do you do that? The reality is it's not advice that's actionable for all merchants. That's something that only larger merchants can do. I should be clear. What that means is if you're a Canadian incorporated merchant and you're selling, for example, to US customers, it would be nice if you also had a US corporation and a US issued merchant account so that we can intelligently route your US transactions through your US merchant account. Because then that customer's card issuer won't see the transaction as an international transaction, and that thereby increases the likelihood of an approval. Again, it doesn't make a massive difference, but if you're dealing with $10 million a month in sales, even a little difference can be a big difference. For small businesses, this is not good advice. We get both small and large merchants looking at our videos. So if you're a larger merchant, for your major demographics, you can look at getting a local domestic merchant account to lower your decline rate. Also, something that all merchants can do, regardless of size, is consider using 3D Secure. I have other content on the channel talking about 3D Secure, but that's the second level authentication for e-commerce transactions. So the other day I was doing a purchase online. I know I was on a different IP address than normal, and I noticed that my bank challenged me. They were texting me a code. They wanted me to check my phone, type in the code that had been texted to my phone in order for the transaction to be approved. If you use something like 3D Secure, there's a much higher likelihood that the issuer will approve the transaction because it's gone through that very high level of authentication. I'm not done yet, though. I have another one for you. Break up very large orders into smaller orders. You can't always do that. If you're selling a car on a credit card, which would be unusual, can be done, but you can't do anything about that. You're selling a car. But let's say you're a contractor and you're doing a home reno and it's $12,000 and you're getting it declined. Well, you could just reasonably break the invoice up into the laundry room renovation, the kitchen renovation, and the living room renovation, and maybe they're $2,000, $3,000, $6,000. That is so I want to be very clear, I'm not saying to fraudulently break up the invoice, but in that example, you can totally and very reasonably break the job into reasonable components. And if you do that, the ticket amounts will be smaller and you will increase the chance of likelihood of an approval. And then after that, we're down to like Hail Mary things. If it's declined right now, try again tomorrow. When you try again tomorrow, try at a different time of day. We know that card issuer anti-fraud algorithms are extremely sophisticated. They do velocity checks, like how many other times has this card holder used their credit card in the last 5 minutes or in the last hour? And are they usually awake at this time of day? So sometimes you can be just far enough offside of whatever their algorithm's looking at for them to cause a decline. But these are pure Hail Mary things. This is more desperation. There's not too much that you can do. You know, we're getting to the end of the rope of your options. But what you can do is, if you're getting declines, you can always say to your customer, hey, you know, customer, I know that it's a little bit annoying and I'm sorry about this. We're doing everything we can. Your bank's saying no. Can you call your bank and ask them 2 questions? Did you see the transaction attempt on this day for $46? You first get them to confirm if they saw it. And then you say, did you block it? And you wait for them to answer. And if they say yes, you say, can you please stop blocking it? They will release the block. The customer can come back and attempt the transaction again. In that time, they should get an approval. So that was my high-level overview of what you can do to increase your approvals or decrease your declines. I hope it helped give you some ideas of things that you can do, and I know it can be frustrating. This is an issue we tackle quite a lot at merchantaccounts.ca, particularly on that cross-border decline issue, because we're able to issue merchant accounts in Canada, US, UK, Europe, and other countries. If you do have any questions, or if you'd like to get a merchant account in any one of those countries, reach out to us at merchantaccounts.ca. We'd be very happy to help. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day there. Bye now.